Girl, I had to start the video over. Y'all come on, get up in here, honey. Yes. I had to start the video over, honey, because Instagram didn't want me to be great, y'all. Instagram didn't want me to be great. Instagram did not want me to be great. It did not. Y'all come on in here, y'all. The show will be starting soon. I'm your girl, Janelle J. Anse, and welcome to another show of Home Cooked Combos. Hey, Jason Carter. Yes. We'll wait for Miss Kimberly Latrice Jones. Yes. She will be in the building soon, honey. In the building. Yes. Y'all come and trickle on up in here, honey. Period. Y'all let me know. Do a sound check. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and see me good. Let me know, y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and see me, okay? Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me and see me. Let me know if the sound is clear. Yes. 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 Yes, we can hear you. Yes. Kimberly will be in the building soon, y'all. I have started the show, girl, earlier, girl. But Instagram didn't want me to be great, honey. They tried to tell me copyright music, girl. They tried me these. Until Kimberly gets in the building, honey. Hey, Kimberly. Yes. Until further ado, we're going to bring Miss Kimberly Latrice on in the building. Kimberly, going to send me your request, honey. Let me see. Yes.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hey, boo. Can you see me okay?
Yes, I can see you fine. I'm just need to bring my light down a little bit.
Oh, girl, that's all right, girl. Look, let me. With Instagram, we got to make sure the sound and the technology is good.
Exactly. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me? What can you hear me?
Yes,
You can hear me
I hear
good.
you fine. Beat for the gods.
Can you
Yeah.
see me? Yes. Well, that's all right, girl. When you send me, I was just got done finishing up my makeup. When you send me the little message and say I'm running a little behind, I said, girl, that's all right. I'm on the East Coast, and you in Atlanta, right?
Yep, I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta's on the East Coast, like New York City. So
Yep.
I already know how things be. So I got on Instagram earlier, and shout out to Miss Patty LaBelle. It's her birthday today.
Yes, Patty.
Yes, it's Patty's birthday. So I played a little Patty, but you know how Instagram, as soon as they hear you play music, it'll say, please cut your music down. You know how Instagram copyright laws, they as soon as they hear
Right.
you playing, soon as they hear you playing some music, Kimberly, they want to act crazy.
It's like Instagram. If I'm minding my business and you're minding my business, who's minding your business?
Period. You already know, Miss Kimberly. Yes, Miss Jones. Well, before we get started, we're gonna do another. Y'all come on, tripping up in here. Everybody coming on up in here. Welcome to another episode of Home Cooked Convos. Kimberly, you can hear me and see me clearly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, Kimberly, first and foremost, I want to thank you for coming on my show tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
I really appreciate you coming on my show. You know, I admire you. I admire what you're doing for the community. I admire everything you're doing for the Black community and just people as a race in whole.
I so appreciate that. I'm trying, sis. I don't always get it right, but I'm trying.
But look, look, E for effort, honey.
Yes.
Sometimes we always got it. Sometimes my old pastor used to say, sometimes we always want to dispel and say it's either all or nothing. But we got to thank God for the efforts that we make.
Amen to that.
Yeah, thank God for the efforts that we make. So we're going to go get started. We're going to cut my music off, and then we're going to get started. Well, Kimberly, how the show works, welcome to Home Cooked Convos, is we'll answer some questions from the audience a little later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to ignore the comments for now. That way we can go on and get through the show and get it on and going.
Yes.
Well, everybody, as you said, today is May 24th, 2021. I'm your girl, Janelle Janse, and welcome to another episode of Home Cooked Convos. I have the pleasure of welcoming writer, director, and human rights activist, Miss Kimberly Latrice Jones. Kimberly, let me tell you something. Do you want me to say Miss Jones or this say Kim?
You could just say Kim.
Just say Kim? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure. I didn't know. I wanted to be, respectful. So I say, okay, I say Kim. Well, thank you for coming to my show tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to say it again.
It's my pleasure.
Yes. But y'all, okay, as you guys know, I'll start with little quick reminders. Let's continue to pray together. And let's pray for safer gun laws and gun control. Let's pray that I'm gonna go, Kimberly. On my show, we cuss. I know on my show, I cuss a little bit. Don't judge me now. Let's pray that pig ass cop in the case of George Floyd gets the sentencing he deserves.
Yes.
Yes, because the sentencing is coming up soon. Am I right, Kim?
Yes, it is, and he deserves all the time he can get.
He deserves all the time he can get. So let's pray that George Floyd's family gets the closure that they need, and the sentencing is served the justice to the people. And we still got more work to do. And so everyone to show more kindness. Hey, Natalie, my friend Natalie in here. Everyone show more kindness. Let's pray for just everything that's going on. There's a lot going on in the world. A lot of stuff going on in Palestine and Israel and Colombia. Is so much going on, Kim. It's like emotionally exhausting.
Yes, and I just want to send a quick prayer up to Sasha Johnson and her family. She is an activist in London. She's been receiving they have not identified the shooter, but she was shot on Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so she's in critical condition, and this is coming behind her receiving a lot of death threats in London for her activism work with the movement. And so just prayers up for Sasha for a speedy recovery and that she holds on.
Yes, let's our hearts go out to Sasha. Was it Sasha?
Sasha Johnson, yes.
Sasha Johnson. So we'll say a quick prayer. We'll say a quick prayer real quick. You want to do it with me, Miss Kim?
Yeah.
Lord, I don't know what's going on in the world today, but let's pray for a speedy recovery for Miss Sasha and the activism work that she's doing over there in London. Pray for her family, and just pray that people just start having more kindness and compassion in the world. And just thank you for waking us up this morning, Lord, because you didn't have to do it, but you did. And thank you for Miss Kim coming on my show tonight. And thank you for another show. And we're going to have a great, amazing show tonight. And thank you, Lord. And I love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yes. All right, y'all. Before we get started, Miss Kim, I like to play a little game in the beginning. You going to play it with me?
Yes.
It's called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
What you do, Kim, is I'm just going to shout out some questions, and you just throw out the first answer that come to mind. All right? All right, Kim, what irks you? What gets on your nerves, child?
Hypocrisy.
Oh, Lord, hypocrisy. Oh, Lord, And tell the people what you mean by hypocrisy. Tell them people what you mean.
You know, I find it interesting that people are talking about we need love, growth, we need to come together and all of that, yet people are incapable of reaching across the aisle, having patience with other people. And I'm like, that is part of this movement, is the love movement in it. Mm-hmm. So you can't say that we need to be better as humans, that we need to focus on human rights, but you are incapable of having patience, love, kindness, and extending a road to redemption to other humans.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Now, Kim, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie is The Color Purple.
Ooh, I love me some Color Purple. And shout out to somebody in the comments saying, is purple your favorite color, Miss Kim?
Yes, purple is my favorite color because Oya is my favorite Orisha, because she was the goddess of war, and that was her color.
Yes, I know you always rocking your purple, girl, your purple hair and purple everything. So I love you some purple, honey. Yes. Miss Kim, do you like your eggs scrambled or fried?
Scrambled.
Oh, yeah, me too, girl. I like old good scrambled egg, child. What's your favorite holiday candle? You know, around the holiday, people be burning candles and incense.
My favorite holiday candle, I like white candles.
Oh my God, yeah.
I just think they, like, no matter what color is in the room, they set contrast to it and give it a little pop.
Yes, it does give a little pop. Like me, I like that. I like the apple pie cinnamon flavors and the fresh linen flavors, colors and stuff like that.
Talking about scents, I like the vanilla.
Yeah,
flavor.
vanilla. Yeah, we talk about scents.
Yeah.
So vanilla flavor. I also like this one like baked apple pie, baked cinnamon, and all of that stuff. Yes.
My sister loves those. Those are her favorites.
Yes. Now we got two more. Now, Miss Kim, do you like turkey bacon or turkey sausage? Which one you prefer?
Neither. I'm pescatarian.
Okay. Oh my gosh, how long you been pescatarian?
I've been pescatarian this time for a few months, but I was pescatarian for years. I fell off the wagon and now I'm getting back on it.
That's all right, girl. We all fall off the wagon, girl. You know, I'll be saying, oh, girl, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to eat that. We all fall off the wagon sometime, but that's all right. That's all right.
When I did eat turkey, it was turkey bacon.
Yes, yes. Miss Kim, are you a cat person or a dog person? Which one you like better?
Dogs.
Me too. Kim,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I just don't have a thing for cats. I don't like cats like that.
And they shady.
They shady. Cats are sneaky.
They are.
And cats are mean. I like dogs better.
Yeah, dogs are so lovey.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Now, Kim, what is one thing about you that people will be surprised to know that they don't know already?
I love trap music.
Oh, Kim, you like that song? It's by it's by Wooty. It's called Whoop Whoop. I got the up in the blue cheese. Oh, you know what I'm about? I didn't know you like all that trap music, Miss Kim.
I love me some trap music. Listen, in my car, I'm listening to like Saweetie and Fujiano and the Migos and Cardi B. I listen. I love me some trap. I just like trap music.
What you think? What you think about some? Is it what you think about Cardi's song? Is it up? Is it up? Is it up in this stuff? Is it up? And it's up and it's up and go. That song just gets me ready. I don't know what it is.
Yes, I love it. And do you want to hear some shady dish?
What's the shady dish, girl?
Trap rappers love activists. Me and my fellow female activists, we talk about this all the time. Trap rappers stay in our DM. They stay trying to take us out. They stay trying to get us flued out. Like
they try to get you flued out like the city
They
girl.
try to get us flued out. They are
flued out, honey.
Are enamored with activists. So trap rappers hit on us all the time.
We
want nice men that we can marry, but our DMs stay filled with trap rappers.
It stay filled with trap. All right, come on, trap music. Yes. They are. Somebody said they are the business. Yes. Now, Kim, you ready to go and get into the show, girl?
Yes.
Now, Kim, where are you originally from?
Originally from Chicago. So I grew up in Chicago, but I've been living now in Atlanta for so long that I actually know Atlanta better. When I go to Chicago, I got to use GPS. I ain't got to use GPS in Atlanta.
Oh, Lord. So when you go to Chicago, you got to use GPS. In Atlanta, you know where everything is.
I know where everything is because I've been living here now for 20 years. So
wow. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, honey. So with that being said, do you think the city of Chicago gets a bad press through media with the violence and guns and crime? Like, there's guns and crime everywhere, but they always talk about how Chicago is so bad. I have an auntie that lives on the west side of Chicago, and I'm on the east coast. I live in New York City. And get this, Kim, I'm used to taking the subway. So I remember I went out there to visit her a couple of years back, and I was going to take the subway in Chicago, you know. You know what she said to me? She said, no, baby, I don't want you taking the subway because subways are very dangerous here in Chicago. I'd rather for you let me drive you where you're going. And I said, well, I'm used to taking subway. I live in New York. She said the subways in Chicago are different from New York. So why do you think Chicago gets such a bad press to what it is?
You know, here's the interesting thing about Chicago. When you look at the numbers in terms of annual murders, the murder rate was actually higher in the 90s. When you're talking about the height of the crack epidemic and the bloodiness that came along with that drug plaguing our communities. And so it's interesting to me now that there is this spotlight on Chicago and discussion of violence. And that's not to say that we don't have a lot of work to do in Chicago. We do, but there's a lot of amazing organizations that are doing work like, you know, Good Kids Mad City and the Happiness Club and different organizations like that. But is what I find interesting when you look at the actual data, the actual numbers, the murder rate was higher in the 90s. So my question that I've always asked is, if we had a higher murder rate in the 90s than we do now, why is the narrative so much focused on what is happening in Chicago? And this is my assessment. This is not documented proof, but this is my own personal theory. I noticed that there was a spin in the conversation about the violence in Chicago when President Obama took office. And I think that it was just another thing to say, like, y'all want this man to run the country. He has not even been able to get things under wrap in his own state, in his own city. And so it started to become a conversation, in my opinion, around that time when he started running for office. And once you amp something up, it maintains and stays. So it's maintained and stayed a conversation since then. Now, do we have a high murder rate in Chicago? Yes, we cannot deny that. Is there work to be done? Yes, there is work to be done. However, it was far more bloody when I was growing up there in the 90s than it is now.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Because like people don't understand. Chicago has a lot of, like you said, great food and great culture in Chicago. But
Yes.
like I said, there's crime everywhere, Miss Kim. There's crime in Atlanta. There's crime in New York. There's crime in Chicago. There's crime in Tennessee. I got family. My mom lives in Tennessee. There's crime everywhere. But it's just that Chicago is always getting the spotlight. It's always, the media is always talking about the crime. And yes, in Chicago, yes, you got to be.
Right. So Chicago is the third largest city in the nation. So when you look at those numbers per capita, juxtaposed to cities like, even just like next door in like Gary, Indiana, like per capita, as it's related to, their population, Gary has far more of a higher murder rate and crime issue than Chicago does. And it is saturated, and it's unfortunate that it's saturated in certain areas, but it's saturated in certain areas. Chicago. So this notion that people have that if you go to Chicago, everywhere you go, you are in jeopardy of being shot. That's a false narrative. I go home all the time. I'm there for sometimes days, weeks at a time, and I never have any issues. That's because I'm a native. I know the lay of the land. I know what neighborhoods I don't need to be in unless I got something scheduled, because I do like to go to those neighborhoods because those are the people that I represent. Those are my constituents, and I like to talk to them. But I know how to go into those neighborhoods. I know which big homies to call to go into those neighborhoods to speak to the people. I know which event centers I should do. I know what kind of security I need, all of that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're like on the north side and down, and even parts of the south side and the west side, like, y'all don't be afraid to go to our city. It's a beautiful city with amazing food, delicious culture, and it's a city that needs to be explored and seen. And if you're not if you're not involved in the gang life there, nobody's gunning for you. When those people get to shooting, they know who they shooting at.
Absolutely.
They know who they shooting.
Well, thank you for clearing that up for us, Miss Kim. I appreciate it. Now, Kim, I learned that you are a very talented lyricist. Where did this passion come from, honey? Where did this passion come from, Laura? A talented lyricist.
I would say I used to be a talented lyricist when I was younger. I'm 45 years old, so I ain't trying to be out here rapping in these streets no more. But that was one of my first. And that's probably why I love trap music. And hip hop was my first love. It was my introduction into the art of the word. You know what I mean? And I again, I'm 45, so I'm coming up listening to hip hop in the the 80s and the 90s. When there was definitely more options in terms of the hip hop that you could listen to. And that's not to say we didn't have our ratchet stuff back then too. We had some ratchet shit too. But there was a balance. Like, for every vanity that you had talking, well, that's not really hip hop, but for every artist that you had that was a little bit dirty, that was a little bit risque, you had a Queen Latifah to balance it. So for every gangster rapper, you also had conscious rap that was available at the same time. And so, that was my introduction into the art of the word, really was hip hop. And I loved hip hop. And I pursued being a rapper until I was about 24 or 25. And then I was like, it's time for me to let this go. And I found a passion in high school in theater and film and TV, and kind of transition of the word to writing. And that was my first passion, was, wanting to be in TV and film, which I work in now. And eventually I grew into being a novelist and writing books. But yeah, I can't rap no more.
All right. Yeah. And also I was going to ask you, who are some, like, I think you just mentioned one, Queen Latifah. Who are some powerful lyricists today that you look up to and respect in the game? Now, we already know Queen Latifah. UNITY, you gotta let them know. UNITY, because that's a unity. Who you calling up, bitch? Girl, don't get me started on Queen Latifah, honey.
And look, Queen Latifah has a special place in my heart because she and I have the same birthday.
Okay, yeah, Miss Dana Owens.
Yeah, so me and Miss Dana, we have the same. We both March 18th. But now I listen to a lot of independent artists. Like, I'm super obsessed with this girl out of New York named Coca. I met her. I'm really good friends with Drummer Boy, and she was at his studio.
Come on, Drummer Boy.
And I met her, and she's become like my little sister.
Yes.
Coca is dope. She's from Brooklyn. If y'all scroll just even like 3 or 4 posts down on my page, I posted one of her freestyles the other day. I absolutely love Coca. Diamond is my bae. You know what I'm saying? Diamond is another one who's like Diamond is she's like my little sister. My first independent film that I produced, Diamond was the lead in it.
Yes.
Like that was like 12, 13 years ago. And so, I'm always gonna have a special place in my house for Diamond. And like you gotta give props to Diamond. Nuck If You Buck is a classic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Nuck If You Buck by Crime Mob.
Yes. So
I'm club, shaking the head, shaking the bump, don't get me started on Nuck If You Buck, boy. Look, I'm originally from the South, so I know how the colleges down there, the HBCUs. Yeah. I went to college in Tennessee at Middle Tennessee State University. And
nice.
shout out to the Delta Sigma Theta. Our Deltas always win the step shows. And they came out to Nuck If You Buck. When I tell you Nuck If You Buck will get you ready.
It will get you ready. So, and like, that's like my little sister. So I love Diamond. I love her movement. I love everything that, that she's doing. So I would have to say modern day, those are my two, is Coca and Diamond.
Absolutely. Now, Kim, you have been praised constantly for your body of work by the New York Times. You were nominated for the NAACP. Some of y'all, if y'all don't know, that means National Association for the Advancement of Color People. Image Awards. How was getting recognized from these two powerful organizations? How did they spark your future work for human rights and Black lives in particular?
Well, it's interesting because most of my writing is based in social justice as well. Yes. So the book that made the New York Times bestseller list and also that was nominated for the Image Award is called I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. And it's a book I wrote for teenagers. And me and my co-author, Gee, we traveled all of 2019 before the civil unrest of 2020. We traveled the country doing school visits and using our book as a tool to enter into different, into difficult conversations. And so I write for teenagers predominantly, and I'm Not Dying With You Tonight is a story of 2 girls who survived the night in race riots.
Yes.
And so, it's being, first of all, the Image Award is the only award that I wanted. I didn't win, but I'm still happy I'm nomination. I can still got my plaque and all of that.
Absolutely.
And I was most honored by that. And it's funny because I had to go back and find some IG lives from the past, from the 2 or 3 years prior to me getting nominated to show people no, I'm not just saying this because I'm nominated. Mm-hmm. This is really how I felt. Here's the receipts. Is mm-hmm. that I said all the time, the only award that I am concerned about is getting an Image Award. That's my only dream. That was my only dream was mm-hmm. to an Image Award. And partially is I remember where there was that movement that was Oscars are so white, and people talk about a lot of the literary awards and how Black authors aren't acknowledged. And part of what I believe is just why is it that we continuously beg to be in spaces where we're not welcome? Yes. Why do we want to be, I don't want to beg anybody to acknowledge me. I don't want to beg. I'm like that in a relationship. I'm like that in life. I don't want to beg to be where I'm not wanted. I'm not asking to be begging where I'm not wanted. What I'm looking for when I'm talking about Black liberation is the freedom for us to be without being bothered, not acceptance, not being welcomed into communities and spaces where we're not welcome. All I'm saying is allow us to live and thrive and be free without insult and injury. That's it. And so it's like, you know, I'm not interested in begging the Pulitzer to acknowledge me. I'm not interested in begging the Oscars. If you don't want me there, that's okay, baby. I don't need to be there. But the Image Awards is a place and a space where Black voices, not just Black voices, but voices of color across the board, are acknowledged, are welcome, are celebrated. And, you know, so when I got nominated for the Image Award, that was my dream come true. I'm not going to be at the Oscars sniffling and crying like, oh, Lord, they gave me an Oscars. I was sniffling and crying when I got nominated for that Image Award. I was sniffling and crying to be in that room of Black excellence. And just one last thing. The year that I was nominated, I went to the Image Awards in 2020, which I got to go to the awards right before the pandemic hit. You know what I mean? And so it was the last big hoorah before we were lights in. And the amount of excellence that was in that room. I mean, I was sitting up in the balcony. I went down there with the fancies on the floor, but I could see everybody clear because I had a good seat in the balcony because I was a nominee. And, you know, I'm in the room with Rihanna and Lizzo and Morgan Freeman and, you know what I'm saying? And what's his name? Michael B. Jordan and, you know what I'm saying? Tiffany Haddish and like all of these epic, brilliant, beautiful, amazing, you know, brown people, and even, you know, even our allies who were there, you know, it was like Captain America and like all these amazing people, and the Latinx people that were nominated, and the Asian people who were nominated, all the beautiful people of color who were there, and we were welcomed and we were celebrated, and it was love, and the after party was like a family reunion. It was lit. And so it's like, those are the spaces I want to be in. I don't want to be begging. I'm like that with a man, honey. You ain't got to worry about Kim Jones begging for your time, because I'm not gonna
Look, you know, now Kim, I'm crazy. Come on over here, Fantasia. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself.
You know.
What if Fantasia say? Don't get me started on Tasia. Don't get me started on Tasia. Don't get me started on Tasia. You know, the Black people, we don't even say fan, we just say Tasia.
We don't do it. Well, I'll bring that Tasia right on out.
Bring Tasia right on out. Yes. Now, Kim, I think you touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to know, where did the inspiration and passion come from? You writing your bestseller first book, I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. Where did that passion come from?
You know, actually, that idea was created by my co-author, Geely. That was her idea. She read, this was in 2015 is when we started writing it. She read an article about an event that took place in Baltimore after the murder of Freddie Gray. And so during the civil unrest of Freddie Gray, there was an incident where they had heard that there was going to be protest. And so they closed down the schools early and told the kids to disperse and go home. And they also shut down public transportation. So a lot of the kids who these are high school age kids, they couldn't get home because they used public transportation to get home. They were trapped and stuck out there in the civil unrest as it boiled over. And so, you know, she's a mom, I'm a mom. And we were just like, she was just so thrown back by this story. And we tried to like find out what happened to the kids. We called the school, we was doing all this stuff, and we could not get a clear answer on what happened to these kids. And so we're writers by trade, and this is how we process. So we started putting together, it was her idea, let's start putting together this story about what it looks like for teenagers, because teenagers are having these lived experiences with us, but we're not communicating with them. And look at what happened when the kids, you know, fought against the nonviolent movement. Those kids were smart and savvy and brilliant and had fresh ideas, and they teach us the language. You know, it's young people who get me together. It's young people that's like, no, Miss Kim, you need to ask her pronouns. No, Miss Kim, that's ableist conversation. No, Miss Kim, you know, they know how we are growing, developing, and learning how to use language and all of that as we get older. And so it's like, young people have always led the movement. Like, people forget that Martin Luther King was only in his 30s when he died. And so we were like, we want to have conversations for and about what young people are experiencing in this moment, and not ones that are, you know, activists or anything like that. Just everyday, day-to-day kids who are having to live these experiences without the guidance of adults, because adults aren't having conversations with them. And so she said, do you want to write this book with me? And I was like, let's do it. And so we started writing this story, and my co-author Geely is white. And so part of her brilliance is that she felt like this is not a narrative she should be telling on her own anyway. She did not have the lived experience, the community informed experience to be talking about civil unrest. And so we wrote a dual narrative where you got to see both a Black perspective and a white perspective in the same story through these two main characters. And you get to see them, it's very fast paced. It takes place over 4 hours as these trying to survive the night. But you get to see how they grow in that night and how they have to lean on each other to survive the night. And then we force them on their journey to have some very difficult and uncomfortable conversations about race and culture. And that's good, because that's what people need to be comfortable doing, because growth comes from discomfort.
Absolutely, honey. You can't look. I always say, never be scared of the unknown. There's blessings in the unknown.
Yes.
A lot of my old my friend, she's a pastor. Her name is, shout out to Janae Robertson. I always shout her out. She said, "Death to the comfort zone in the name of Jesus. Death to the comfort zone. Death to the thing in place you want to continue to hold on to."
Yeah.
Some of us become stagnant because we take off our spiritual floaties.
Yeah.
And we go back to what we used to.
Yeah.
But there's blessings in the unknown.
Yeah. Because
when you walk into the unknown, that's when God can elevate you to the next level, can work with you. And having faith, you gotta, like I was saying, faith without works is dead. But death to the comfort zone, honey.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what'd you say, baby?
I said, get uncomfortable and grow.
Absolutely. Now, you're the co-founder to Superwoman Squad. Can you tell us a little bit about this organization, Superwoman Squad?
Superwoman Squad is a collective of my girlfriends who are all content creators. We found that we had similar experiences as female content creators, some good, some bad. That we needed a space where we could all work together, that we could make referrals to, for each other for jobs. And we were doing that naturally and organically, but we were like, let's just make it official. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just make it official. And so we started, me and my dear friend, January, we started this thing called the Superwoman Squad. And what it is, it's a diverse and eclectic group of women of of all experience, cultural, you know what I'm saying, binary, trans, all women of all experiences who work in the film and TV industry, and all some heavy hitters now, all got a lot under the belt. But we work together, we create projects together, we give each other referrals, we help each other with projects, we share resources, all of that. Right now is just a core group of about 7 women, but what we're looking to do within the next year is we're going to expand it out by offering workshops, classes, that we already do a writer's retreat that people love, we announce our writer's retreat and it fills up in 24 hours. We already do our writer's retreat, but we're going to offer more workshops and classes. And eventually we want to expand it into a mentorship program as well, where we can nurture young female creatives and help them into the industry. And because we've had a lot of growth in the industry. People are interested in signing women of color. People are interested in getting more female directors on their sets. But there is still some toxicity that we have to deal with, and so we also nurture through each other. And my reputation in film is not nice. They're like, that's the mean lady. And part of why I was expressing that to somebody else is like, part of why that has to be is because when I was a young director and a young filmmaker, a lot of times when I would get to set, I would get disrespected just because I was female. People would assume that I didn't understand what I was doing. They would make decisions that you wouldn't make without talking to your director, and make them without talking to me. And so, this notion of the bitch, right? I kind of had to start showing up and setting a standard out the gate that I'm not one to be played with. Don't try to play those games, because eventually over time, when you're doing TV, you can take the time to earn people's respect because it's a longer, it's a longer process. But, and that's if you're a showrunner, not if you're a director, because you're there one episode in and out. But, with features and episodic directing, it's like, I don't have time to earn your respect. So I'm just going to enter with fear.
Absolutely. And I always say, like Beyonce said it best, you can't mix polite and business.
Mm-mm.
You cannot mix polite and business, because, like, you know, people will run over you. If you give people an inch, they want to hold a whole 12 inch. They want a whole meter. You give people an arm, they want a leg. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So look, keep doing what you're doing, because I guarantee you, whatever you're doing, they can classify you to bitch or whatever they want to say, but I guarantee you the job gets done.
It gets done.
The
And
job gets done.
look, and people keep hiring me. So
And people keep hiring you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, can you tell us, I think you touched on it too, but can you tell us a little about your connection with Mr. Tyler Perry and his studios? What projects did you have in your talents involved with Mr. Perry?
So my first job that I worked with Mr. Perry was Medea's Reunion. I was the production secretary on Medea's Family Reunion. And child, I done messed around and got myself knocked up at the rap party.
Oh, child, Jesus.
So I had to take a break because I had a baby.
Okay.
I had to take a break because I had a baby. And then I came back and I worked on I Can Do Bad All By Myself, the movie.
Yes.
So I was the production secretary on both. And the fun thing is, I was hired as the production secretary on I Can Do Bad All By Myself. I was hired as an office PA on Medea's Family Reunion, which is below a production secretary. You actually report to the production secretary. Well, you really report to the coordinator, but it's underneath it. And so I was hired as an office PA on Medea's Family Reunion, but Medea's Family Reunion was very early in the film game for Tyler, because you're thinking like Diary of a Mad Black Woman was the first one, Medea's Family Reunion was the second one, and he filmed them back to back. Like, they came right behind each other.
Yes.
This is studio. He didn't even have the studio. Like, he just had the distribution center where he was making, still sending out DVDs, because this is 2005. He was still sending out DVDs of the plays and stuff like that, and we worked out of there until we went and rented a warehouse to use as a studio. And I think he negotiated a deal while we were on that set to get his first studio, which was a small, tiny studio, and he continued to grow from there. But so when I did Medea's Family Reunion, our staff was smaller than the staffs that you see over there now. And so even though there was like 3 office PAs, I was doing the job of a production secretary. And so our first AD at the time, Roger Bob.
Come on, Roger Bob.
Yes, I love Roger Bob. Roger Bob now has his own studio and is doing his own thing now.
Yes.
But Roger Bob asked him to bump my credit on Medea's Family Reunion. He said, we're not going to credit this girl as an office PA. She did the job of a production secretary. We're going to give her that credit. So shout out to Roger Bob, who got my credit bumped on Medea's.
Now, Kim, you see.
Let me tell y'all something about Mr. Tyler Perry, okay? Mr. Tyler Perry is one of the few people that I have worked for in this industry where he could tell you the name of everybody on his set. He could tell you what's going on with them. He could tell you what they're doing. My ex, my son's father, at the time, his father died while we were filming Medea's Family Reunion, and I had to take 2 days off work to go to my father-in-law's funeral. And I got to the funeral, and there was a wreath there from Tyler Perry Studios, because he pays attention to what's happening with everybody. And I'm sure he sit down and order the wreath himself, but I'm sure he gave the order to make sure that the wreath was there. And it's that just speaks to who he is as a person.
Absolutely.
And that speaks to who he is as a person. That I was probably one of the a PA is as low as you get on the totem pole on a set at the time. And he still made sure to do that. And so it's like, that just tells you, I'm grateful for every moment that I spent with him. I learned so much.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mr. Tyler Perry for that. Now, I think I was saying, now I Could Do Bad By Myself. Didn't that star Taraji P. Henson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did. She did a good job in that. How was it like meeting her and working alongside with her?
Taraji's just so down to earth. She's just like, the best way I can describe it is like, it's almost like Taraji don't know she Taraji, if that makes sense. Oh, you Taraji P. Henson girl. And so she would come into my office, because on I Can Do Bad All By Myself, I handle most of the travel as the production on that. I handle most of the travel. And so like she would, you know, most of them, they have their agents email and stuff like that. Taraji would just come in my office and be like, you got all my stuff together, girl? When is my flight? Okay, you know, my son trying to come in town. I need you to help me, you know, with some flights for my son. And, you know, she was just so, you know,
down to earth.
This is pre-Empire and stuff like that. But even
all that, yeah.
Already a known name and stuff. And she was just like super down to earth and relaxed and fun and, you know, no trouble.
Absolutely. Now, I also learned that, girl, you created the blueprint for the hit show being Bobby and Whitney, honey. How did this amazing project come along? And rest in peace to the wonderful legend, the greatest Miss Whitney Houston.
Yes.
The iconic, legendary Whitney Houston, honey. How was it working along? First of all, I got two-part questions. How was it producing Bobby and Whitney, and how was it working alongside the legendary Whitney Houston?
Well, see, the interesting thing is I can't take credit for the blueprint. That has to go to our producers.
Okay.
Wanda Shelley and Tracy Baker Simmons, who are my big sisters. I still talk to them like all the time. Like Wanda is, even though me and her only a few years apart, she's like my mom. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she's really big sister age, but she feels like my mom. Man, I mean, I'm gonna come back to Whitney, but I gotta give props to Tracy and Wanda first, because
come on, Tracy and Wanda.
These are two Black women who started a production company. Girl, they found me in the Gap. Wanda was in the Gap shopping for her daughter, and me and her having a conversation. I had been living in LA for 5 years. I moved from LA to here. I was starting all over. The film industry was not then what it is now. We're talking like 2004, 2003. And I was working in the Gap, and she and I had this amazing conversation. And she said to me, you are too smart to just be folding shirts. What is it that you really want to do with your life? And I said, I'm a filmmaker. And she said, well, I have a production company. And I was like, girl, you just conveniently got a company because I said I want to be a filmmaker. Okay. So I didn't email her for like a month because I thought she was just pulling my leg. I had come from LA where everybody lie. Everybody
lie.
They don't. So I thought she was one of those. I was like, girl, thank you, Majaki. You ain't got no production company in Atlanta. Child, get out of here. So what happened was I ended up going through a bad breakup. And you know what happened? You go through a bad breakup, you go through your Ilyana. A lot of people say Ilyana Van Zant, but I prefer the Van Zant version. But but I was going through a breakup, so I was trying to get my life together. And so part of what I did was I reached out to Wanda. I was like, what can I lose? It'd be worth it to take a meeting with her. And I emailed her, and she emailed me back kind of like, what took you so long? I'm going to set you up with my partner, Tracy, who's going to interview you. They were editing another project. I met her at the editing bay where she was editing. We had an amazing interview. She hired me right there on the spot. And I started working for these two amazing Black women. And so I worked in development for their production company. And when you work in development, like part of your job is just making sure that you do whatever you need to do to support the producers to get the show packaged and ready to go. And I don't care if that's copying, production decks or whatever it may be, you work in support to get the show off the ground.
Absolutely.
And so I worked in development for them. However, I did not have the experience necessary to be doing that job, but those two Black women gave me my shot. They gave me my opportunity. And so, they were doing other shows when I started there, and then Being Bobby Brown happened, and it just took over the company. Like everybody and everything was like, we need to focus on this show and getting this show done. And then once it got sold to Bravo, I mean, it became a cultural phenomenon. I mean, it really is one of the original reality shows. We weren't even calling it a reality show. We were calling it a celebrity docuseries because reality show wasn't even really a term then. And so it's one of the founding shows, of reality TV, and it is most certainly and without question the original Black reality show. There was no all Black cast reality show prior to Being Bobby Brown. It was the first. Bravo did not have any original content until being Bobby Brown. Bravo had, all they had was syndicated shows, reruns, prior to being Bobby Brown. The only show that they had was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which they didn't own. It was owned by their parent company, and it was being simulcast on Bravo. So Bravo, y'all can thank those two Black women for telling you what to do with your network. Because it was, you know, people don't know about being Bobby Brown, that being Bobby Brown, you don't get the housewives, because how they even got to the housewives was Phaedra was Bobby's lawyer when we were doing Bobby Brown. So Andy had a conversation with Phaedra, and that's how you got the housewives franchise. And that's how Bravo figured out what they were going to do with their network based on what we did with being Bobby Brown. So Bravo, you're welcome.
Absolutely. Look, you just put me on game. And you just educated us, because I didn't even know all of that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then you're gonna say, did you ever get to meet Whitney Houston?
I did. I met with a few times. She came into the office, and it's crazy because I tell this usually when I'm in interviews. I tell people this amazing story about the one real significant moment that I had with Miss Houston. Was she came, this is at a time, keep in mind, when we're doing Being Bobby Brown, this is at a time where the press is brutalizing her. We're trying to destroy her legacy, where they are looking for negative things to write about her. I can legitimately say I even witnessed them writing things that I knew not to be true. Like, because I would be talking to the crew like, what happened last night? Because the blogs and the press are saying this, and the crew would be like, that ain't what happened. They just took a story and remixed the fuck out of it, Kim. That's
Absolutely did.
what happened. And so someone had written this amazing article about her, calling her the voice of the century and all of this stuff, this beautiful piece about her. And she came into the office one day because she was having a meeting with one of my bosses. And while she was waiting, I was eager. I like almost leapt over my desk trial, eager to show her this article in the newspaper. You know, I'm old time on newspaper, but I was eager to show her this article in the newspaper, and she didn't want to see it. And I was like, no, Miss Houston, it is beautiful. They are praising you. They are calling you the voice of the century, all of these things. And she said, baby, I don't read any of that stuff, because if I allow myself to believe the good, then I'll also have to allow myself to believe the bad. And these people don't dictate to me who I am. So I don't read any of it. Fucked me up. And so I live by that now. I don't get off on accolades, because guess what? The same people who will cheer me today will boo me tomorrow. And if I do today, you lifting me up, then I'll believe you tomorrow when you're tearing me down. And my self-worth, it has to come from in here.
Absolutely.
It has to come from within me. And she taught me that. She taught me.
Well, shout out to Miss Whitney Houston, honey, and rest in peace to Miss Whitney. And oh my gosh, you just dropping so many gems. I'm so grateful that you're on this show tonight, Miss Kim. Thank you. You are a legend to the community. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Queen. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, so that's what I've been doing, girl. I'm out here trying to get my show to a network soon, but I'm in my season 2 of Home Cook. Yes, I'm in my season 2 of Home Cook Convos, and I just started taking it virtually in 2020. But I started this show in 2015 on YouTube. But I say, you know what? I'm a creative. I'm going to reach out to PR, reach out to public figures and celebrities and people I grew up with in TV, film, or people who just a staple in the community. And I'm going to ask them to come talk to me on my show. 8 times out of 10, they say, yes, I love what you're doing. And what people don't understand, your Instagram is your virtual resume.
Yeah.
Before you go out to people, I'm sure you did it. Before you looked at my page. Let me see what Janelle's about. Let me see what she's about. And then you saw, oh my God.
You know my team vetted it like, no, this is legitimate.
Oh, yeah. So you go underneath my IGTV, underneath the Home Cook Convos page, underneath my IGTV section, you will see the people I had on my show. I had Yvette Nicole Brown. I had Alexis Fields. That's Kim Fields' sister. I had Jason Carter on my show. I had T.S. Madison last Monday.
I love T.S. Madison.
Yeah, she was on my show last Monday. So these are legit people. And like in season 1, I had Ryan Toby. He played the little guy in Sister Act 2.
Love.
You know, the one who, when Jesus, what? Yes. I had Dan Johnson from P Valley. People that we grew up with, like on Nickelodeon and all that. I had Lisa Reyes. I had Dawn Robinson from En Vogue.
Okay.
Yes. Season 1. Yes, season 1. If you go to Janelle Jayance underneath the IGTV, you will see that interview with Dawn Rock. Because I always save all my shows to my IGTV. Even this show, Miss Kim, I save it to my IGTV where I can have a resume of it, and then of course I'll tag you in it, and then I'll take some good snippets out of it, and then I post it to my story and stuff. Oh, somebody said, "Yep," and I had MJ Harris on my show too.
Yep, they like you, girl. You done had everybody.
Yeah, look, I don't have MJ Harris. Yep, I did. I love MJ Harris. I had so many people, so I had to reach out to you, honey. I said, "Oh no, I got to get Miss Kimberly Latrice Jones. I love you." And I remember you had went live, and I commented beneath your live. I said, "I would love to have you on my show," and you go, "You know what? I would love to come, but I'm gonna tag my assistant. Please reach out to her because I don't want to mess around with my schedule because she knows my schedule, and I don't want to mess around and mess things up."
Yes, I try to let her do her job and stay out of her way.
Absolutely, because look, I'm a Capricorn. I run my own show. I'm a micromanager, so I like to make sure everything's in order. But sometimes you got to let people do their job. If you tell them how to do something, let people do what they're designed to do.
And I will give them this piece of advice too about what great leadership looks like in terms of running a business. I trust my instincts on whether or not you're good for my business, and I don't question that. I don't second guess that.
Oh, that's why. So I was good for your business. I feel honored now.
Yes, I trust my instincts when it comes to my business, but I don't second guess it. And my gift of discernment is very strong. So it's like when I'm choosing to work with someone, when I'm choosing to engage someone, something about that person felt very solid and secure. But be clear, if my spirit says no, or if I see red flags and my spirit says no, this is one of people ask me about things I'm proud of and they think it's going to be like making the New York Times bestseller list or something like that. No, the thing that I would say that I am the most proud of is the fact that Maya Angelou's statement, when people tell you who they are the first time, believe them. I believe people out the gate. You don't have to tell me 2, 3, 4 times who you are. You don't get 2, 3 years, 2, 3 months, 2 or 3 weeks to abuse me. I don't allow it. I don't tolerate it because I know how fast this life goes. I was 15 running around in Chicago 10 seconds ago, and I woke up and now I'm 45. So I know how fast this journey goes. So you don't have 2 years to be difficult. You don't have 2 weeks. You don't have 2 days to be difficult in my life. When it's time for you to go, I will get rid of it.
Yes! Look, shout out to my girl Amanda Seals. I know you love Amanda Seals.
Yes, I love her.
This is what Amanda Seals do. She'll say something. Look, I'm gonna get close to the camera like Amanda do. I love you, but I can also cut you off that quick.
That quick.
And people don't understand. People always think, "Oh, I've been friends with you for 10, 11, 12 years." But my thing is, I don't care, girl. If you do something in my spirit and it's not telling me and I'm not ready, and honey, I could be bad by myself, like the movie shout out to Taraji P. Henson. I could be bad by myself, like Miss Kim. We independent women, honey.
Yeah.
Question. Look, you see, I did that. See, I did that question. Question, like Beyonce.
Like Beyonce say.
Yeah. Question. Yes. Shout out to independent women. Destiny Child, Beyonce, honey. Yes. The thing, I live by myself. You live by yourself. I'm not a person that one of my friends said to me one day, "Are you quick to write people off so quickly?" No, but I will say, if something's in my spirit, it's telling me something, and I don't care if I've been friends with you for 13 years, I would drop you that quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody said your audio's up. You got your audio up, Miss Kim.
Let me turn it up. Let me try to turn it up a little bit. See if that's.
There we go. There we go. That's better. Uh-huh.
Yeah. At the end of the day, my peace is my greatest jewel. My peace is my greatest jewel. I walk a journey that bombards me with I walk a journey through my activism that bombards me a lot of times all day, every day with trauma, and that I have to see the humanity in people. Most people just get to look at the cases as a case headline, as a news story, but I have to talk to these mothers. I have to children of these dead men and women. I have to go into these communities that are stricken with poverty. Like I have to do things that allow me that don't allow, but that force me to deal with extreme trauma and carry the weight of other people's trauma all the time. And so it's like, when trolls cuss me out, when I say something wrong and the kids gather me online and all of that, I can deal with that. That comes with the territory. But the pain that hits you hard, and I'm sure you know this too, the pain that hits you hard comes from those who have access to you and from those who know you. Because when people talk bad about me online, I know they don't know me.
They don't know you.
I know they don't know me, but when it comes from a relative, and when it comes from someone that I love, or, a dear friend, it hits different. It throws me off my game. It messes with my psyche. It attacks my mental health. So I can't allow that. I can't allow that, because this movement, my community, the artists I work with, they rely on my strength to get them through when they're struggling. And so I can't have a significant other or a friend or a cousin or nobody that's close enough to actually do me harming me when the people need me to consistently be standing upright. So if you are close to me and your intent is to do me harm, because my people need me standing upright, and I'm not going to let you drag me down.
Oh, girl, Kim, I gotta invite you back on the show sometime later on down the month. And if your schedule's free, I gotta bring you back on the show again, because you just speaking so much gems tonight. So let me ask you, Kim, can you hear me okay? Because somebody said my audio was low. Can you hear me okay?
Fine.
Okay. I don't know why they said that, girl. Maybe it's their phone, girl. But Kim, yes. Oh, girl, we can just talk all day long. So Kim, let me ask you now. That's why my show's called Home Cooked Convos, girl. It's like speaking like in the South. Oh, good old home cooked conversation, child. Now you went viral with your iconic, oh my God, 6-minute and 45-second video. How can we win? By the way, I want to say it to you right now, Kim. You see, I got my fan. Shout out to you. Bravo to you, honey. Bravo, bravo, bravo to such a passionate and well-explained video. Now, I have to ask you, on this iconic day, also shout out to Miss Oprah Winfrey, who also recognized your How Can We Win video when Oprah played it on one of her specials during the whole George Floyd situation.
Do you know Oprah paid for me to go to high school?
Oprah paid for you to go to high school.
Oprah paid for me to go to high school. So I went to I went to 3 high schools. I had 2 very difficult experiences. The first high schools I went to, and I finally landed my junior and did my junior year at the place that was the place I was supposed to be at, which was the Chicago Academy for the Arts. I studied theater, but I went there on an Oprah Winfrey scholarship.
Oh, look, shout out to Miss Oprah Winfrey, Harpo Productions, honey.
Yeah.
Harpo Productions.
Funny thing is, when I talked to her after my video went viral. I got a phone call from Gail, and then Oprah was there, and I was like, Oprah and Gail. And then I told Oprah, I said, Miss Winfrey, I just want to tell you, I went to high school on the Oprah Winfrey Scholarship at the Chicago Academy for the Arts. She said, Gail, I forgot I even did that. Like, that's how much she does. She was like, oh, I totally forgot I gave scholarships to that school. How long ago was that? So, yeah, so shout out to Oprah. And it's funny, it's kismet, because when she aired my video on her special, she didn't know that. Like, she didn't remember that. She never met me. She didn't know that. But I just wanted to honor her and say, like, yeah, but guess what? You paid for this kid to learn how to speak in that way by going to theater school. So thank you, Big O.
Thank you, Miss O. Thank you to Harpo Production. Shout out to your favorite movie also, Kim, Color Purple. You told Harpo to beat me. All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my uncle, my daddies, my cousins. Child ain't safe in around the men's. I had to fight my whole life. I love Harpo, and God knows I do. But I kill him dead if I let him beat me. You want a dead son-in-law, Miss Seeley? You keep on advising him like you doing. You better bash Mr. Head and think about the heavens later. She said you better bash Mr. Head in and think about the heavens later. Yes, Oprah. Yes, come on, Oprah. Yes, me.
Yes, because it's the queen.
Yes. Now let me ask you, on this iconic day, what made this video go through? What made you do this video? How can we win? What was going through your mind that day? Because you just put what made you just put it out there? Because you had so much passion and conviction, and you were so raw with it. You was crying. You had tears in your eyes. What made you? What was the straw that broke the camel's back that day?
Truthfully, and it's funny because I just saw my friend Shivy make a comment. Hey, Shivy, he's
Come,
actually
hey, Chivy.
Shivy. He's running for city council right now, and so one of the things, it made me think about it because it's a very Shivy thing to do. Is Shivy's been doing community cleanups where he goes and gets trash bags and all that stuff and cleans up the community. He just did one this past weekend. Sorry, I missed it, Shiv, but I got you on the next one. But you know, I had organized a community cleanup. I had organized a community cleanup in my neighborhood. At the time, I was broke, busted, and disgusted, starving artist trying to make it. I was living in Bankhead, and I organized a community cleanup, and almost nobody showed up.
Okay.
Like I had worked with these different organizations to get a dumpster out, to get cleaning supplies and all of this stuff, and nobody, like 4 people showed up. And so we were trying to clean up at least like a 4 or 5 block radius. We ended up only cleaning up a block or 2 because it was only a handful of us. And so fast forward a few months later, after the civil unrest that happened here in Atlanta, and people were downtown, which is a wealthy part of town. People were downtown cleaning up the wreckage from the civil unrest, and it was predominantly Black people. And so they were predominantly people who live in, you know, more affluent neighborhoods a little bit further out, but they had purchased their own cleaning supplies, like things to get graffiti off the wall and all this stuff to come downtown and clean up. And so I was down there with a guy named David Jones, who had been documenting all of the civil unrest. And
shout out to David Jones.
Shout out to David Jones. And so he had asked me to come down and do some kind of like man on the street for him. Do some man on the street for him, interviewing people. And so as I was interviewing people, the consistent feedback that I was getting from people was, when I would ask them why they were doing this and why they had spent their own money and stuff like that, they were basically what I got. Now, these are not the words that they use, but this is the gist of what I took from what they were saying. They were concerned about the white gaze. They were concerned about how it made Black people look. They kept saying, I know we have to do something, but this is not the way to do it. This is not the right way to do it. And so, you know, it bugged me. I ain't gonna lie. It bugged me.
Go ahead.
Because I thought, now here I am in the middle of the hood a few months ago, made all these flyers, put all these posts on Instagram and all of that.
Get into it, Kim.
To get people to clean up our community, and nobody showed up.
Okay.
But here y'all are in this affluent area that the city is going to come down here and clean this. Keisha was not going to let downtown keep looking crazy. Like the city was going to come down here and clean this up. When there's been civil unrest in our communities, y'all didn't show up and clean up. But y'all are so concerned about the white gaze and so concerned about the redirect that's going to come from this, that's going to redirect the community, that y'all down here spending y'all own money and cleaning up. That shit pissed me the fuck off. It pissed me off. And I started talking, and David said, hold on, sis. Let me turn the camera on. And that's how y'all got that video.
That, oh, girl, don't you get me emotional, Kim. I don't want to cry. On my show, we can cry. Okay. My show is safe to be vulnerable, okay?
Yes.
I do not want to start crying. Because the video just give me chills to this day. It's been viewed by millions and millions and millions of people. Like, it's amazing. Hey, Leslie.
Hey,
Hey, Leslie. Yes, Leslie.
I love Leslie. Leslie is one of our frontline gods. The work that sister is doing in Minnesota, like, ooh, Lord, when I tell you she is a goddess amongst humans, she is a goddess amongst humans.
Absolutely. Well, that video, I don't even want to start crying. That video was just, oh my goodness. How can we win? When you said, how can we win? Like, I was just, I'm taking that in. How can we win? You talking about playing, was that video referencing to chess? I think you said something about chess and doing this and doing that. It was just moving, Miss Kim.
Yeah.
And that's one of those videos where if someone asks you to do it again, that's probably what you could say, I can't do it again because the moment was there at that time. You know, like lightning in the bottle. You can't rehearse something that's lightning in the bottle.
No. And I think, you know, it's funny because when I reflect back on it now, I think it's also a testament to why we have to pour into our kids. And, you know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and it's rough. Oh, man, that's a rough upbringing for a kid. But I think of the only difference between me and those of us in my community who made it out and are successful and the ones who didn't was resource. Resource was access to resources, was access to seeing a different way, was resource to the intelligentsia of the world. And so when I think about the pieces that led up to that moment, it really boils down to the people who poured in me, not as an adult, but the people who poured into me as a child. The first 2 lines from that speech came from memory because Reverend Willie T. Barrow, who
Come on. Take your time, sis. Take your time, sis.
Reverend Willie T. Barrow, who led Operation Push, those first 2 lines are the first 2 lines of a speech I heard her give when I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, I was in an after-school program after Operation Push, and she gave that speech, and she moved me in such a way as a child that I asked her to get a copy of that speech, and I memorized it. And I gave it in an oratory competition. My 8th grade teacher, Ms. Lumpkin, allowed me to recite it in an oratory competition, and I carried that message with me for her for 35 years. And the world may have not heard her say it, but they got to hear me say a piece of it.
Yes.
And so I think about even just the ability to speak. And the ability to speak came from going to the Chicago Academy for the Arts. But my parents couldn't afford that school. So I don't get to go if it's not for the Oprah Winfrey Scholarship that paid for me to go.
I'm crying. Girl, I got my Q-tips right here. Ready to drop my
And
stuff.
so I think about all the women who that day, who I was standing on their shoulders. Who I was speaking for them, who because they bred life into me, it gave me an opportunity to breathe life into someone else. And so I'm grateful for, you know, the AME church where I was in the, you know, when I was in the youth groups, and I'm grateful to my teachers who saw this crazy kid with ADHD who needed to learn a different way. I'm grateful to my bosses. I'm grateful to Tyler Perry. I'm grateful to Wanda and Tracy. I'm grateful to all these beautiful melanated people who saw something in me, who poured something into me, who gave me space to feel like it was okay to think out loud. Hell, listen, I'm grateful to Kanye, because me and Kanye ran in the same circles when we were younger. And the one thing I admired about Kanye then, when we were kids, was his ability to speak and not give a fuck what nobody said. I admired that about Kanye. He like me. We don't always get it right. We say shit all the time that piss people off. But it doesn't stop him from speaking. It doesn't stop me from speaking. And you know, Tupac said that the one thing he appreciated about his mother is that she never shut down his big mouth. I got a big mouth.
That's all right. And the same thing with me, Kim. Like, thank you for being vulnerable on this show. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that, because that's how you know it's genuine and it's real. Look at me, Kim. Me being non-binary, transgender in the LGBT community. Everybody may not like everything about me. That's why I always tell people my pronouns are she and her. You know, out of respect, people just know, like, you know, you have mean people. Like, I'm like Whitney. Like Whitney was saying she don't read the newspaper. I don't read the comments sometimes because people can see me I'm presenting myself as a woman, but you'll still see people in the comments, oh, is that a man? Oh, he, him. They still say mean things, but I have to ignore that and put the blinders on and know what my vision is for this show, knowing that God will elevate my show to the next level in due season.
Yes, definitely gonna elevate you, queen. And I tell people all the time, I've had people ask me, like, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on that? I'm like, I am for the liberation of all Black people. I am for the liberation of all Black people. None of us are free until all of us are free. So if my trans brothers and sisters ain't free, if my queer brothers and sisters ain't free, the rest of us ain't free. Because guess what? If I'm gonna be upset about a Black body being killed, I gotta be upset about every Black body being killed. Every Black. I don't have to live in your life to know that you deserve freedom, peace, equity, fairness. That if it's a Black body, I'm concerned about it. I'm like Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everybody Black.
I'm rooting for everybody Black.
I'm rooting for everybody Black. And I get in trouble all the time because I have Black conservative friends. Guess what? 80% of the time, I don't agree with the shit that they say. 80% of the fucking time, I don't agree with shit what they say. But all I need is that 20%. I need that one thing that we agree on. Motherfucker, you go get your people and I'm gonna get my people. We gonna make a move on this. And that's gonna be it.
Absolutely. And that's what T.S. Madison said before when the whole George Floyd situation was going on. There was a trans woman who got beat up. Thank God she didn't get murdered.
Yeah.
In the damn state of Minneapolis again. It's always something going on in Minneapolis.
When it's something they better call Leslie, because Leslie will get it done.
Oh, in Minneapolis, yeah. Oh, she in Minneapolis. Yes. So this trans woman was in a bodega or going to a store or something, Miss Kim, and 10 Black men jumped her, beat her up, did all that to her. And thank God she didn't pass away. And what T.S. Madison said is, how can we root for Black Lives Matter, but we still have Black trans women getting murdered every day by Black men who are killing us and saying, oh, you shouldn't be like this. You're a man. You're this, you're that. She said, all Black people are Black people. You can't say Black Lives Matter, but you dismiss the Black trans woman who just got murdered yesterday and beat up yesterday.
This is the thought process that led me and my sister, Yanaja Harlon Wolf, to start our organization, Revolutionary Healing.
Uh-huh.
Revolutionary Healing is a healing retreat we do for Black and Indigenous people every third Sunday of the month.
Okay.
We usually try to offer it for free if we can. If there's extra things that is outside of our budget that we need to pay for, we attach a free to the tickets, but we try to keep the tickets always under $40. It's not going to be over $40. And if it's over $40, what we start doing is breaking it up a la carte. Like, okay, for $20 you can get in, or if you want to do the paintballing, then you got to pay $20 for that. So people don't so people don't feel overwhelmed economically, because the reason we started it, because what we realized about Black and Indigenous people, and she's Black and Native, so we were like, we knew that we had these shared traumas, Black and Native people, and that we should do it for both groups. Is that you got amazing people like Leslie and Tamika and stuff like that out there fighting the good fight against police brutality.
Yeah, shout out to Tamika Mallory.
Like Congressman John Lewis, may he rest in peace, who got on the inside and was fighting it with the laws. You got amazing people like Park Cannon here, Congresswoman here. She's the Congresswoman that was roughed up, who are on the inside fighting against the laws. You have Black environmentalists fighting the environment. You have organizations like Grassroots Law that's dealing with it from a legal perspective. But what Yanaja and I started to recognize is that by and large, what nobody is dealing with is our mental health and our spirit and our traumas. And you get a lot of people who, yes, have mental health services that are catering to Black people, but the price point are set in a way that is still not accessible to the least of them. And so we wanted to create a space where people have both traditional and untraditional healing available to them, either for free or for minimal cost. Because what we recognize is somebody got to deal with our spirit. Somebody got to deal with what's happening in here. And there's a lot of external work that needs to be done because white supremacy is a busy little bitch. And she
Yes, it is.
Showing herself up and everything. But there's also, like I saw Shivy posted in here a little while ago, we have to save ourselves. There also, and people get mad when you talk about there's a duality in the conversation. There's a duality in the conversation. There are the things that we need to say and do in order to combat white supremacy, but there is some work that us as a community, we can start doing internally. And I know we don't like to have those conversations publicly, but there are some things that we need to start doing in order to work on us. And so, you know, revolutionary healing was one of the things that we decided to do, because what we said was the most revolutionary thing people could do right now is to be a better version of themselves. The space in which they exist in and the way they move in this world is to grow, so we could be more, extend more grace to each other and be nicer to each other. I was telling, you know, a story that I love, everybody know me, you know, I love analogies. I love analogies, like my Monopoly analogy. I love analogies.
Come on, analogy.
One of the analogies that I always use, as I tell people, is that, you know, you go to McDonald's 50,000 times, right? You go to, Mac comes to Revolutionary Healing every month. So Mac is like, Revolutionary Healing really allows a space to heal. It does. You go to McDonald's 100 times and the ice cream machine is down. You can't never get a goddamn Blizzard or Sunday or nothing, right? Nothing. But you still return to McDonald's. And you still may try to order that Blizzard, despite the fact, you know, chances real high that machine is down. But you give them the grace and the space to hope that one day they might get it right. And if not, you're going to order some other stuff. You go into a black business and they ain't got napkins. You tell everybody to tell everybody not to patronize them. You run right to your, you tell everybody this why I don't do black businesses. See, that's that Willie Lynch trauma that exists in us that we gotta work on getting out of our system. You give McDonald's, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, all the grace in the world on them raggedy ass ice cream machines that ain't worked since I was a fucking kid. But you walk into a black business and they ain't got napkins, and you gonna tell her, girl, don't go over there, girl, they ain't even have napkins, girl. Who don't got napkins? Well, guess what? How about next time you go back, you stop by Restaurant Depot and you get a case of napkins and you take it to that sister to uplift her and help her in her business? Because you recognize the white supremacist that's working against us through things like redlining. So you know that sister did not get the loan that her white counterparts got. So she doesn't have an operating budget in her account to get her ahead for the next 6 months. So she may be living day to day. Her daily profits may be funded. So no, she didn't have the money for the napkins. So you gonna fucking get them for her.
Period.
You hear me?
Oh, Kim, you got too many gems in this show tonight. You know I'm gonna be tagging you. You know I'm gonna be tagging you. And I'm gonna pull some good ones out, because girl, you are speaking a ear full. People don't dissect that. Look, me and you are born to do what we're born to do.
Yeah.
This is why I say to people, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. You getting your high school paid for by scholarship by Oprah Winfrey. You putting out that video. You say you have a big mouth, but your mouth was meant to speak to the babes of people. Me, with my wit, my personality, was meant to do what I'm doing. My friends would say to me, Janelle, you're good. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's because your gift will make room for you. And shout out to you, Miss Kim. And flowers, I'm extending virtual flowers to you. My flowers to you. Hand flowers to people while they're living. Give people their flowers while they're living.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you flowers, virtual flowers from Janelle to you, Miss Kim. Shout out and keep doing what you're doing, my sister. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving it to us. You don't have to be the popular one, but you're going to be the one with the most facts.
I appreciate you. And when the world opens up and you come to Atlanta, let's get breakfast. Girl.
Oh, no, listen, I got friends and family in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and so many people that I had on my show, everybody saying because the world is gradually opening up. Like all the people I had on my show, I had Trinice, she lives in the West Coast. They're like, girl, when you come to California, 'cause I got friends out there because I'm involved in entertainment like you. I'm a talk show host. You gotta come and let us know when you're here in California. So I got so many friends that live in Atlanta in Peachtree Street. I got people that live in Marietta. So when I'm there, when we get done, exchange, give me your number through the DM
Yes.
where you can have my number.
Yeah.
I'm in New York, but I kept my Tennessee area code. So
Nice.
you will still see a 615. That's a Nashville area code.
Gotcha.
That's me, girl. That's me, girl. Well, you know it ain't nobody crazy.
I love it.
But yeah, so I will be in Atlanta, and I gotta hit you up because I love the work you're doing in Atlanta. But you got a little bit more time. We got a few more things. You got a few more time, Miss Kim?
Yeah, I got another 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna take it too much long. Now, Kim, what do you think it would take for the judicial system and the system as a whole to wake up and treat Black and brown communities fairly as they do the white community? What do you think it would take?
Lobbying.
Oh.
Lobbying. 19 Keys says, poor people vote and rich people lobby.
Oh, say it again for him, Kim. Say it louder for the people in the back.
19 Keys says, poor people vote and rich people lobby. And I think when you look at, I seen there's been a lot of controversy this week about a meme that was circulating around saying, Asian people didn't have to beg, march, or protest to get their rights done. Why is that? And I say that's lobbying power. That is a community that understands their collective worth, and who utilize that collective worth to lobby for the judicial fairness that they deserve. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't expect anybody to love me. Just like nobody gonna love you like your mama love you. Nobody.
Absolutely.
Us like we love us. And so again, this goes back to what I'm trying to do at Revolutionary Healing, is promote healthy healing in our community so we can work as a collective, because our buying power, for us to be 13% of the population, our buying power is in the billions. The NAACP has a lot of resource in terms of the lobbying that they do, but they could have more if we understood the significance of that. All of us need to, when we get our income tax return, when we get our income tax return, we all need to be like looking at where the Black lobbyists are and getting some things done. Somebody said that's not lobbying, that's called continue to ignore. But lobbying is a powerful system. I'll tell you why lobbying is a powerful system. The voter suppression bills that we have all been fighting from state to state was written by one.
Absolutely, go ahead.
By one lobbyist group, and then it was adjusted state to state to fix that state, and then state reps, state congress people had to decide that they wanted to, sign off on the bill and be the person who put the bill up. It was a coordinated act amongst over 40 states that this same bill that was written by one lobbying group that got sponsors in every state from the GOP, though they didn't have to worry about passing a federal law. They didn't have to worry about passing a federal law because they were able to find sponsors in the bills in over 40 states. A lobbying group. If you go to my Facebook fan page, you will see it. They were able to find people who would support that bill in over 40 states, the same bill reconstructed by the lawmakers in that state to fit the laws and the constitution of that state in order to get those bills passed because they wanted change to happen. So if we want change to happen, we need LeBron and Oprah and all of these people who have the money to form a successful PAC that can write a bill. And instead of trying to get a federal bill passed, we need to find sponsors in in the state legislature, federal, in the state legislature, to sponsor those bills and make it a coordinated act. Because guess what? Guess who's smart enough to understand that system? The Asian community, but more so the Jewish community.
Oh, the Jewish. I will tell you one thing: the Jews run in New York. They run New York.
And so, you know, in order for us, here's the thing: in order for you to beat anything, I tell people this all the time when I teach writing. Right? I tell them, in order for you to break the rules, you have to first understand them.
Oh.
And so, if you don't understand, I mean, they used to try to teach us when we was a kid. I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill. I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. But one thing they don't teach in schools is civics.
Ooh.
They don't understand. They don't teach you how laws get passed. They don't teach you the impact of lobbying. They don't teach you how to do grassroots lobbying if you don't have the money. I watched grassroots lobbying right here in the state of Georgia. There was a series of rapes that happened on a college campus here in Georgia. Okay? There was a series of rapes that happened here in the state of Georgia. And 9 20-year-old girls.
Oh my goodness.
9 20-year-old girls formed a grassroots lobbying pack and got rape laws on the books changed. 9 20-year-old girls formed a pack, put a crowd fund, and got a state law changed after the 9 of them had been victims of rape and brutally abused on their college campuses, and there was not real repercussions for the young men who raped them, and they got the rape laws changed. 9 20-year-old girls.
9 20-year-old girls. That's, oh my God, it's powerful. There's power in numbers.
There's power in numbers, but there's more power in your state and city legislator.
That's why I tell people all the time to fill out your census report, Miss Kim. I tell people, don't avoid when you get jury duty. Don't avoid those. You have to go to jury duty. Look at the George Floyd case. Look at jury duty is so important. Look at the situation that happened with the what's the song When They See Us, the movie When They See Us with Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
Look at the judicial system in that. That's why it's so important for people, fill out your census report, Black people, go to jury duty, because you can be helping somebody saying guilty or not guilty.
And look, I tell people all the time, listen, if it's people running that you don't want to vote for, and you like, Kim, why would I vote for the lesser of two evils? I don't want to vote for none of them. Still register. Still register to vote. You know why? Because they pulled the jury rolls from the voter rolls.
Oh, I didn't know that, you see.
They pulled the jury rolls from the voter rolls. So if you're not registered to vote, you're not getting called for jury duty.
See?
So, I mean, I guess in some states it varies, but for the most part. But so if you don't want to vote, that's cool. Still register to vote so you can go to jury duty, so you can be on a jury and help somebody.
Absolutely.
Because mass is an issue too.
Absolutely. Mass incarceration. Now, Kim, real quick, what are some actions people can take right now to help fight the good fight that you're continuously and courageously fighting in the state of Georgia?
Get involved in your local politics. Get involved in your local politics. You ain't got to run. You ain't got to do none of that stuff. Just know what's going on in your city. I tell people all the time, right? The way that Atlanta is broken up, we're broken up very heavily in county, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are standing on the corner here in Atlanta on Moreland and Memorial, on one side of the street, you're in DeKalb County. on one side of the street, you're in Fulton County. If you're standing on the Fulton County side and you get caught with the user's amount of marijuana, marijuana is decriminalized in Fulton County, you are going to get a $50 fine. If you literally take 10 steps and cross the street and you are in DeKalb where marijuana is not decriminalized, you're going to jail. 10 steps apart, you're getting a $50 fine, you're going to jail. 10 steps. 10 steps.
10 steps.
Cross the street, cross the light. On one side, you're getting a $50 fine. On the other side, you're going to jail. So to me, that is an indicator of how significant your local politics are and where you actually have the power to make significant change. You can show up at the city council meeting and rail. You can get on a community board at your city council and rail and make actual change and make actual difference. Everybody wants to fight everything at the federal level, and that's like the kind of me. Like, I don't want to say it's a losing battle because I want to encourage people, but I'm just like, it's low-key a losing battle. The lobbyists got that shit on lock. Unless you got millions of dollars in the lobbying pack, you ain't getting shit through in there. I could go down to a city council meeting, show my motherfucking ass in one meeting and get some shit done, get an ordinance put in place, all of that.
Oh my goodness. You just said an earful. Now I have to ask you, I have to make sure I ask you this. With the recent news of voter suppression going on in the state of Georgia, can the state do this, Ms. Kim? Can they take away basic human legal rights for people to vote? Can they do this? What, like the fucking Brian Kemp asked, why is he not fired yet? It's so much I want to ask you. Why is Brian Kemp not fired yet? Can they do this?
The quick and easy answer is yes, they can do it. The good side of that is the checks and balances of local politics is such that there are so many checks and balances to make sure that something is constitutional. And keep in mind, each one of y'all states has its own constitution. There is the federal constitution, then there's the Georgia constitution, the Florida constitution, the Maryland constitution. So things have to be constitutional, not just federally, but it has to be constitutional according to your state constitution as well. So there's ways to fight things. Like this bill that passed, really all what the plans are with the organizations that I know that are leading the charge on that, like Fair Fight Action and Black Voters Matter. There's a bunch of really big organizations here that are leading the charges that they are going to pursue getting it overturned in court because there are things about it that are unconstitutional, not federally, but due to the Georgia Constitution. There are things.
Shout out to Stacey Abrams.
Yes, Stacey Abrams at Fair Fight and all those.
Yes.
Latasha Brown at Black Voters Matter, Hannah Joy over at Lord, I can't remember the name of Hannah's organization right now, and I stood out there with her for months fighting that bill. Lord, Hannah, forgive me, charge it to Auntie's head and not her heart. But like all of those people who are leading the charge on that, they're gonna win it in court. They're gonna beat it in court.
Oh my God, thank you. That look.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I asked you that because I was so scared and terrified. I was like, oh my God, Brian Kemp, his little Humpty Dumpty ass ain't got fired yet. He trying to see, they mad Kim because Georgia don't turn blue on their ass.
Yeah. And that's what
Georgia don't turn blue on their ass. So all them Caucasians out there are upset, honey, period. So you're not gonna get nothing done because Stacey Abrams got that on lock.
Yes. And the interesting thing about it is like, this is why I tell people all the time to like, diversify your conversation, because the thing about it is if we all live in an echo chamber, right? Somebody
Oh
said,
my God, that's Sharon Stone.
oh my God, hey Sharon Stone,
Hi, Sharon Stone, a legend, honey. Oh, Sharon Stone. Let me go and pin her comment, child. Yes.
You talking about a woman that taught us all to be fearless. Sharon Stone taught us to be fearless, hunty.
Hi, Sharon Stone. Yes.
Yes, she is one of the most iconic and fearlessness women we have. But yeah, so like we're gonna beat it in court. We're gonna beat it in court. And
Oh my God, that makes my heart happy.
yeah, it's just at the end of the day now, at this stage in the game, what we have to get is savvy. We have to get savvy about the law. We have to get savvy about lobbying. We have to get savvy about grassroots lobbying. And then part of what we have to do is build equity, marginalized communities, because anybody can beat you when you're broke. It's unfortunate. It's not fair. But when you live in a capitalist society like this, that's really a republic. That's far more republic than it is a democracy.
That's turned blue.
Yeah. When you live in a space like this, even if the individuals don't have the money, which is the goal, right? We need to raise the minimum wage and do things like that. If the community has equity support, it's harder to be. I think about my own run-ins with the cops when I was younger, and it was all economically based. It was because they were able to pull me over because my tag was expired, because I was economically disadvantaged and I needed my car to get back and forth to work, but I could barely afford the car. So my insurance might have lapsed, or my registration might have lapsed, but I still needed to get to work. And, so then I get pulled over for that. And now I can't afford to pay the $800 ticket. And now I'm on probation trying to work the ticket off. And so it's an equity slippery slope. That doesn't mean that there is not, white supremacy at work in the way in which our communities are over policed. But what it means is it makes it even easier to be a target when you are in extreme poverty. The median income for the Black family is $17,000. The median income for our white counterparts are $170,000. So yeah,
Oh my God.
Marginalized communities and post up on the weekends on a Friday night, you're going to be able to write all kind of tickets to make the city make budget.
Okay.
Because the people are economically disadvantaged, and you're going to get some no insurance tickets. You're going to get some no lack of registration tickets. You're going to get all of that stuff. And then it's like a ripple effect, right? So this person with no insurance, now they have, they got a user's amount of weed in their car. So now you're just able to get them on something else. So, it's like we need to, the civil rights movement did a magnificent job fighting on equality. And I hear people all the time say, I'm not my ancestors. Well, you're right. You ain't your ancestors, because you definitely ain't built like them, because they definitely just didn't have no Instagram posts to make. The bus boycott was over 300 days of them walking until their feet were bloody. So no, you ain't built like them.
Yes. Sharon said, I get that. We were a 14K family, and low income families need real care.
Yeah, they need real care, because they are vulnerable. They are vulnerable. They are extremely vulnerable. And so
and Kim, I want to say this to them. That's why I tell people, look, I took accounting in college. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity.
Yeah. That's
assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. Assets, petty cash. Owner's equity, manufacturing goods. You got to know that stuff. Assets, people didn't think that. Like, oh my God, why am I taking accounting? Now accounting is so useful and it's real. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity.
Yes, and also exposure to other industries, right? It's like, that's amazing. I'm proud of every young Black queen that owns a t-shirt line and is equity, everything like that. But it's like, how many of us own the cotton? How many of us are growing the cotton?
You better tell her, Kim, how many of y'all growing the cotton?
How many growing the cotton? For every absolutely amazing young woman, like Pinky here in Atlanta, who is thriving with her slutty. How many of us own a
shout out Pinky?
Yes, shout out Pinky. How many of us own a restaurant, equipment, sales place or rental place? How many of us are growers? How much are we supporting my ex, my son's father is a farmer.
See?
Somebody said, I'm gonna be real, I'm tired of those melanin teas. A whole fool, you a whole fool for that. But I'm so proud of my ex, of my son's father, because he decided to go into farming. But he told me from day one he didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. He didn't want to do chickens and goats and all of that. So he decided he was going to grow and breed emus.
Absolutely. You're right. Somebody was asking me what that quote was. I was saying assets, it's the accounting equation, y'all. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. That's the accounting equation, the basic accounting equation. If you ever took accounting 1 and accounting 2, assets equal liability plus owner's equity, y'all.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get out of here and run because I'm on deadline for 2 books.
Well, I know you are. Well, Kim, I was going to say one thing to you. What is next for Miss Kim? What's next for Miss Kim?
I have 2 novels coming out this year. One in October that is for teenagers called Why We Fly. And it's
Congratulations.
Thank you. It is co-authored with my dear friend Geely, who I wrote I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. And it is another dual narrative, seeing the perspective, both a black and white perspective, dually in a story about 2 teenage girls who take a knee at their high school football game and the fallout from it, and what it does to their lives. And that's called While We Fly. And that comes out in October. And then I have an adult nonfiction called How We Can Win, which is an extension of my video, and it gets into the nitty-gritty of how we got to where we are and how we can actually win and what we need to do and pursue from this point on to build equity, to change the narrative and to grow our community. So and they're both available for pre-order now.
And go out and support.
Yes, on Barnes and Noble and Amazon and Target and all those places. They're both available for pre-order now. But Why We Fly is out in October and How We Can Win is out in November. And so I just got messages from both of my editors today that I needed to do what we call pass pages, which is your last pass on a book. I'm doing pass pages on Why We Fly, and I'm doing my copy edits right now on How We Can Win. So I'm working overtime so that both of those books can be released on time. And then also, I'm also a filmmaker, so I have an overall TV deal with Warner Brothers.
Congratulations, sis.
Thank you. So I'm working on some content for them. I have one really special project that I'm working on with them that I'm very proud of. I can't wait for y'all to see. And then on my social justice side, Revolutionary Healing, which I co-founded with my sister, Queen Yanajaha. And that is every 3rd Sunday of the month. It is a healing retreat for Black and Indigenous people. All people are welcome, but it is a space that we've created for Black and Indigenous people every 3rd Sunday of the month. Revolutionary Healing. And then I am still on the entertainment and culture committee for the People's Uprising. I used to be the chair, but I've stepped down to vice chair just because my schedule's so busy. And what we do with the People's Uprising is we fight laws. We fight bad laws. We fight bad laws. We fight discriminatory acts through the People's Uprising, which is mostly led by a division of TPU called the YAL, which is the Young Atlanta Leaders. So we're being led by some early 20-somethings, some Gen Zers who are brilliant. And we just take our cues from them and offer guidance to them, but we pretty much let them run that because that's where these voices need to be coming from, because it's their future that we're all trying to prepare and better. So they should lead the charge on that. And then lastly, Lord.
Girl, you got so many accolades, Miss Kim.
Lastly, I continue to work on Hood Girl Heroes, which is going to offer all types of things because, I like to let people know, I'm a hood girl. I like bedazzled nails and purple weaves. And, and I want little girls who are growing up in marginalized communities like me to know, baby, the way that we speak is cultural, not remedial, and that you are the architect of cool and young Black women and particularly also women of trans experience teach us all how to be cool, how to live, how to be, how to say. It's so ingrained and embedded in the language, you don't even know it. If you ever stood on a stage and told somebody to put their hands together, you need to know that came out of jazz slang. And so what I do with Hood Girl Heroes is I let girls like me know that hood girls can be heroes too.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, I want to tell you, Thank you so much for lending your voice, your time. You have spoke so many gems on my show tonight. I'm going to go back and rewatch this show because I always rewatch the playback. And I want to thank you for just lending your voice. Shout out to Sharon Stone in the building.
Right?
Shout out to everybody who just came in and supported Home Cook Convos. Thank you for y'all keep on following my talk show, Home Cook Convos. Shout out to Miss Kim and what you're doing in the state of Georgia. Thank you for everything you do for our people as a whole.
It's my pleasure.
And I love you. So on that note, y'all, this has been an episode of Home Cook Convos. I've been speaking to the wonderful writer and activist, Miss Kimberly Jones. And Kim, when I'm out, like I said, I'm gonna give you my number through the DMs. When I'm out there, what'd you say?
When you come out here, we're going to eat.
Oh no, yeah, we family now. We family. Like every time somebody's on my show, I say we virtual family now. We family now. So I want you to continue to be safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. Be alert. Even though you're doing the good work, but you always got to be aware of your surroundings because we live in crazy times, a crazy world, that we always got to watch what's going on around us because so many people are here to try to take us out, but we can't let the devil win.
No, not at all.
We can't let the devil win. But thank y'all for tuning in, and I love you, Miss Kim. I want you to go do what you're doing, and thank you for coming on and talking to me, okay?
I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye, baby.